Grab the dark fruit at the beginning, Blackbeard explodes. Chapter 16. Nami, are you telling the truth? In Nami's home in Kokoyashi village, a woman who was several years older than Nami raised her head in disbelief and looked in the direction of Lin Yan. Sister, he is the only one who can help us. Nami answered in the affirmative. Nuo-chi frowned. She looked at Lin Yan with a doubtful look. Nami actually saw Krub's head, and thus believed in Lin Yan's strength. But Nuo-chi is not taller. Moreover, regarding the naivety of this silly sister of mine, Nuo-chi Gao was a little more worried. Such is the situation in Kokoyashi village today. I can no longer stand what they are doing. What if the tiger is lured away and the wolf is driven away? The final consequences can only be borne by themselves. While the two women were discussing, Lin Yan was sitting in front of the wooden table drinking dry tea. Where it enters the eye. Eyes full of poverty. The Nuo-chi Gao family is already too poor to open the pot. As if aware of Nochigao's appearance, Lin Yan looked sideways. Miss Nochigao, it seems that you have some doubts about my ability. Yes, Lord Lin Yan, I have seen Aaron's strength. You are alone and outnumbered. I'm afraid you may not be a match for Aaron. So forgive me for not believing everything you say. Nokigao didn't hide anything and answered truthfully. You are quite straightforward. So, how do I need to prove it? Lin Yan narrowed his eyes and stared at Nuo-chi. The dragon pirates have indeed experienced changes recently, but we have no way of knowing what happened. However, Captain Marine, who is behind the dragon pirates, has also arrived at Koko Nishi village. If you, Lord Lin Yan, are really powerful and can deal with this guy. Nokigao gave a list. You're talking about that Colonel Rat. Haha, Colonel Marine, it's really scary. Lin Yan originally sneered at proving his ability. But at this moment, a temporary task popped up in the system panel. Temporary mission. Kill Colonel Rat. Requirement. As Marines, we do not do human affairs. A nest of snakes and rats work together. Although we are pirates, we are also obliged to pay off all injustices. Any evil will eventually be brought to justice. Reward. Sea-level lottery. The moment I saw this temporary mission, Lin Yan's eyelids twitched. Not that killing Colonel Rat was that unusual. It's just that the introduction is a little weird. What does, any evil will eventually be brought to justice, mean? Good guy. A strong sense of justice came over me. In fact, Nuo-chi Gao was not sure. She said in an anxious tone, Master Lin Yan. What do you think? It seems that I have no reason to refuse. I'm just a colonel, there's really no challenge at all. Lin Yan stood up. Whether it's Nokia Kao or Nami. The two girls just felt like their eyes were blurred. When I came back to my senses, I was surprised to find out. Lin Yan had disappeared from the house. Bang! It doesn't take a moment. The door burst open. A bloody head was nailed to the wall. Nokigao and Nami were shocked. They both looked over. On the wall is the head of Colonel Mouse, one of the corrupt Marines who has exploited their Koko West village for many years. Time goes back to 1 minute ago. On the streets of Kokoyashi village. The wind blew the fallen leaves, the grass and trees swayed, and in the breeze, the people around him knelt on both sides of the road. Everyone lowered their heads, not daring to look at the Marine on the main road. Colonel Rat is arrogantly collecting people in Kokoyashi village. In the past, it's not Colonel Mouse's turn to do this kind of thing himself. What a pity. There have been changes in the dragon pirates recently. Want to make money? Then you can only take action yourself. With a team of people, there was no grass growing anywhere, and the sound of wailing was everywhere. The people on both sides were miserable. Their rickety bodies and bent waists did not dare to move at all. Who are you? At this moment, there was a loud shout, causing the people on both sides, as well as Marine present, to look over. The end of the street. A man who looked very gentle. He stood there, with the sun shining his shadow on the ground. His temperament was extraordinary and otherworldly. Sniff sniff. After all, they are the elite of Marine. No matter how bad the mouse is, he is still a colonel inside. He had a very keen nose, and after sniffing, he immediately sensed the danger of Lin Yan. From a long distance away, Colonel Mouse pointed at Lin Yan and said, Who are you? Lin Yan didn't answer. He stepped closer to Colonel Mouse. Colonel Mouse's eyes changed. The more silent you are, the more it means the person coming is not good. A handful of truth suddenly appeared in his hand. Bang bang bang. 3 shots were fired in succession. The bullet accurately hit Lin Yan's heart. Just when Colonel Mouse was overjoyed. The next second, he was stunned. But he saw a black flame igniting in Lin Yan's chest. The bullet passed through his body. This is Logia devil fruit. Quick, stop him. Colonel Mouse quickly greeted the people around him. Marines gathered around him. Pity. Useless. Less than a breath. A full 30 ordinary Marine soldiers were all annihilated on the spot. This is the blink of an eye. Just killed more than 30 Marines. Colonel Mouse's pupils tightened. And at this moment, Lin Yan had already arrived in front of him. Colonel Mouse tried to escape as quickly as possible. At the same time, the bullets in his hands poured out crazily, and the flames from the muzzle spurted out one after another. But almost all the bullets penetrated Lin Yan's body. Can't do any harm at all. In this East China Sea. In this place where even the domineering power is not perfect. Ethereal dog. Basically it is an invincible existence. Only for a moment. Colonel Mouse was strangled by Lin Yan's neck. Look at the other person's face turning red. The limbs were struggling wildly. Lin Yan really wanted to say something. Do you also want to dance? The moment he was mentioned, an idea suddenly flashed in Colonel Mouse's mind. Own. Dying. His instincts were right. Lin Yan put a hand on his shoulder. Another hand grabbed his leg. Lift your left hand. Right hand sinks. Stab. Colonel Rat's body was torn to the limit. On the body surface of the skin, there were cracks. Then there was a harsh impact. The hot blood was thrown into the sky with a bang, rising 3 to 5 meters like a fountain. Colonel Mouse's body was separated on the spot. It was torn directly by hands. The frightened eyes widened. I will never die with my eyes in peace. This moment, the huge Kokoyashi village, be it the surrounding villagers or the remaining Marines. There are also the belated arrivals of Nokigao and Nami. There was a deathly silence. In the sight of everyone. Lin Yan was bathed in the hot blood. His face was full of scarlet. Raise your hand. He wiped the blood on his face a little. A gentle voice came faintly. I'm sorry, the scene is a bit bloody. All but Marine present. Some cadres of the Dragon Pirates, such as Jin Chung, Shioyaki and others, were also present. No matter how weak Colonel Mouse is, he still has the title of Colonel after all. Just ask. If the strength is insufficient, how can one be qualified for this position? This is why. Even their Captain Aaron. When you see Colonel Mouse, you have to be in awe. What's the result? A Marine Colonel. In Lin Yan's hands. It's not just that he doesn't have the strength to resist. He even tore it to pieces in front of everyone. Jin Chung and Yanxiao looked at each other. From each other's eyes, they saw horror. What's going on? Why in this remote Kokoyashi village? Will you meet such a strong person? Looking at Lin Yan bathing in blood. There were already waves in the hearts of the two of them. Just when they were about to flee the scene. Suddenly. A sharp look. He looked towards the two of them. A shadow covered the two of them. Jin Chung and Yanxiao looked up, and Lin Yan stood in front of them. You two, don't you stay for a glass of wine. The two of them were horrified. Eat wine. What kind of wine? Lin Yan said politely. Of course I'll leave the fish heads for you two to drink with. Congratulations to host for completing the temporary mission. Kill Colonel Rat. Get the sea-level lottery. Sea-level rewards are being drawn. The drawing is complete. Congratulations to host for getting half a year of training experience. The sea-level lottery has a high probability of being practice experience. No matter how small a mosquito is, it is still meat. Lin Yan still needs to improve his strength as soon as possible. Another half year of practice experience gained. Lin Yan only felt that his strength had climbed a small level. Not bad. Return to the house again. How are you two? Lin Yan looked at Nokigao and Nami. Although I have already prepared. But after actually seeing this scene, Nami still made waves in her heart. Not to mention Nuo Chigao. The moment Colonel Mouse was torn apart by his hands. The unhappiness she had buried in her heart for many years seemed to be vented instantly. In Lin Yan, she seemed to see the hope of liberating Coco West Village, and the doubts in her eyes seemed to disappear. Present. Nuo Chigao said with a pleading voice, Master Lin Yan, please help us. Looking at the expectant eyes of the two girls, Lin Yan said lightly, Look at what you said, am I not here just to help you? Master Lin Yan, what do you need us to do? We can take you there. Nuo Chigao said excitedly. It's no longer necessary in the past. You don't need to go there. Why? Aaron, he's already here. The words just fell. Outside, a violent roar suddenly sounded. On the streets of Kokoyashi village, Aaron was burning with anger, his veins popped out, and his fierce eyes flashed with a hint of coldness. He stared straight at the ground, where the corpse of Colonel Rat had long been dismembered. At first, when I heard about the death of Colonel Mouse, Aaron couldn't even believe his ears. On strength, Colonel Mouse is not much worse than me. What's more, although it is in the East China Sea, but among the Marines, Colonel Mouse also has a very important voice. Even if it's me, I don't dare to provoke him. You even have to lower your posture, be too flattering, and grovel. What's the result? The servants come to report. Colonel Mouse. Dead. To say that Marine died on the sea is not a big deal at all. After all, there are almost countless similar examples. Pirates and Marine are in a hostile state again. You come and I go. A few casualties are normal. But Colonel Mouse can die anywhere, but he cannot die in Coco West Village, on his own territory. This pot. Aaron can't afford it. Especially since I want to continue to develop in Coco West Village. This is also the reason why Aaron rushed here as soon as he heard the news. He knows. If we don't find out the mastermind today, there is no way I can do it myself. Under the leadership of Aaron, the members of the Dragon Pirates drove all the people in Coco West Village to the center of the square. Aaron looked at everyone, his tone was low, his fists clenched, and he shouted angrily, "Who did it?" As his words came out, the subordinates of the Dragon Pirates drew out the swords on their waists one after another. The sword light was placed on the villagers' necks. It seemed as if the knife was about to be raised and dropped at the next moment. Send them to hell. Although the villagers of Kekiasi village saw Lin Yan. But that was no more than a fraction of a second. How can they know who the murderer is? The villagers could only hesitantly say that they saw a man, but they didn't clearly see who he was. It would be better not to say this. After saying that, Aaron became even more angry. In front of you, you told me that you didn't see it. Okay. Since you want to seek death, then I will make it happen for you. Kill them one by one until they ask questions. Aaron gave the order. Soon, the first villager was taken out. This is a mother and daughter. The mother is only in her mid-20s, and the daughter looks 6 or 7 years old. The mother tried hard to protect her daughter under her body. I don't want her to see the dangers of the world. But her desperate and frightened eyes did not reveal the trembling in her heart. Under the pressure of the Dragon Pirates, she could only keep shaking her head, indicating that she had no idea at all. Useless thing, die. Aaron's claws grew a foot long, and he raised his hand and penetrated his mother's neck, wanting to end the lives of the mother and daughter. However, at the moment Aaron's claw was about to hit the villager, suddenly, a strong wind blew towards his face. The strong wind carries black flames. Just hear a click. Aaron's claws broke instantly. The sudden change naturally made Aaron wary. Who? Immediately afterwards, a black shadow suddenly fell to the ground in the sky. A big hole was made in the ground, and cracks spread out to the surrounding area. The agitated dust even rolled up residual clouds, shrouding the surroundings and spreading out. In the smoke, a young man walked out with a sneer on his lips, his eyes were like lightning, and his aggressive eyes were hard to look into. He said, as expected of the Dragon Pirates, who are famous in the East China Sea, and their attacks are clean and neat. Quote. Aaron took a closer look. Suddenly, he discovered that the person coming was a human being. He frowned and said coldly, "Who are you?" Lin Yan had a bright smile on his face. "Aren't you just trying to find me by going to all this trouble?" Aaron's face was stern, and he understood the whole story at a glance. Did you kill Colonel Rat? Lin Yan nodded simply. Yes. Aaron gritted his teeth. You are so brave. Do you know who Colonel Mouse is? I don't know. Why don't you explain it to me? Believe it or not, I will send you back to the West right now. If you want to avenge this scum, go ahead. Lin Yan pointed at Colonel Rat, who had been dismembered on the ground, and hooked his hand towards Aaron. Since you, a human, insist on seeking death, I will give you a ride. Aaron gritted his teeth. How many years? I have never heard anything similar. Aaron's eyes were already red. He looked at Lin Yan with an aggressive look. In just one breath, Aaron came to Lin Yan. The sharp claws flashed with cold light, and one claw slapped Lin Yan on the head. For Aaron, except Marine, there are very few existences that he can take seriously. After all, in his worldview, possessing highly developed strength, the stronger fish man among the same generation, it has more innate advantages than humans. On strength, on ability, on power. They fish men are even worse than humans. This is why the fish man Aaron was still able to attack Lin Yan even after he tore up the mouse kernel with his own hands. He said he was afraid of Colonel Mouse. But what Aaron is more afraid of is the revenge from Marine. So much so that it turned out to be a bitter pill that made it difficult for him to move forward in the East China Sea. That's why I swallowed my anger towards Colonel Mouse. Said without politeness. Colonel Rat died on his own turf. This undoubtedly touched Aaron's reverse scale. Anyway. This human being in front of me must die. How fast is Aaron? He ducked in front of Lin Yan. Lin Yan looked defenseless, as if he hadn't reacted yet. The sneer in Aaron's eyes grew stronger. Human beings. As expected, they are no match for the fishmen. One claw down. The sharp claws directly penetrated Lin Yan's head. Success. Aaron was overjoyed. But in a blink of an eye. But his expression changed. In imagination, this image of a broken human head and blood mixed with white liquid was not sprayed out. This made Aaron subconsciously look up at Lin Yan. At this time, that's this one look. His pupils were constricted and his heart was shaking. When his claws penetrated Lin Yan's head. The flames are burning. This is. Are you a Logia Devil fruit user? Aaron told Lin Yan's fruit ability. After releasing the secret fruit, Lin Yan clenched a fist with one hand, and with black flames, he punched Aaron firmly on the body. Bang! After a muffled sound, Aaron's body was like a kite with its string broken, flying behind him at extremely high speed. Hit the wall. He smashed a huge human-shaped hole into the wall. The bricks fell off and fell on Aaron's body. Lin Yan's punch. Aaron was almost beaten to death. A touch of bright red blood spurted out from his mouth. With just one move, Aaron could barely resist it. Under the ruins, Aaron looked at Lin Yan in disbelief. Not to mention how shocked he was at this time. A tiny human being. In terms of strength, how can you compare with yourself as a fish man? That's fine if it's in the New World. Where is this place? East China Sea. Do the math. Donghai is just a novice village. But the current situation told him the truth. He is far from being a match for the human in front of him. He finally knew why the man in front of him dared to attack Marine and Colonel Mouse. The first half of the Grand Line and the New World are two different worlds. The Four Seas and the first half of the Grand Line are two different worlds. Even without the ability to obtain fruits. In terms of pure strength, Aaron was definitely no match for Lin Yan. Not to mention that now he has the dark fruit and the many years of cultivation gained from the system. Crush a pirate with a bounty of 20 million. No problem at all. After getting up, Aaron still wanted to struggle. But how could Lin Yan give him such an opportunity? The fruits are taken in and spit out secretly. Aaron lost his fighting ability on the spot. With Aaron's downfall, the dragon pirates no longer have any resistance. After, Lin Yan directly destroyed their base camp. Congratulations to host for completing the side mission, defeating his peers. Request. There is only so much territory. If you don't take it, someone will. Please host defeat a pirate group and ask the other party to put a total reward of more than 20 million Baileys. Winning the B-level lottery. The B-level rewards are being drawn, the drawing is complete. Congratulations to host for getting 1 year of training experience. Lin Yan closed his eyes and felt the increase in strength. Just a short trip to Windmill Village. He has accumulated 1.5 years of cultivation experience. Lin Yan nodded. Other side. After destroying the dragon pirates. Nami, practice makes perfect. The dragon pirates' warehouse was opened by her skillful hands. Lin Yan looked towards the warehouse. Golden light suddenly shot into the eyes, and the warehouse was filled with gold jewelry. This Aaron. Nami clenched her fists tightly, her face full of anger. How much wealth did Aaron have to plunder to accumulate the wealth? Lin Yan did the math and found that the value of the money on site was approximately over 600 million belly. More than 600 million baileys is not a small amount. Since we want to form a pirate group, I believe there will be plenty of money to spend in the future. Not to mention far away. Just build a pirate ship. Want a nice boat. If you don't have money, who will help you? A big wave of his hand. It's like a magic trick. The 500 million baileys on the ground were emptied out in the blink of an eye, and were all stuffed into Lin Yan's system warehouse. As for the remaining 100 million, Lin Yan gave it directly to Nami. Oh, give it to me. Although Nami loves money, that was only in the past. In order to collect 100 million belly, he would do anything. There is a saying that goes well, before you achieve financial freedom, there is no harm in searching a little. But now, the dragon pirates were eliminated. The original bet with Eren has also come to an end. In Nami's opinion, she no longer needs money to support her. Moreover, their Kokoyashi village could no longer give Lin Yan any benefits, and they were already indebted to him. Now Lin Yan still has to pay out of his own pocket. Give 1/6 of the captured loot to yourself. How could Nami feel so happy? She shook her head repeatedly and said, "No, let's forget it. We don't know how to thank you anymore. You deserve it. You don't want it, but what about you villagers?" Lin Yan pointed in the direction of Kekiasi village. Nuo Chigao's family was completely destitute, let alone the other villagers. Nami is speechless and doesn't know how to answer. I don't want to do these troublesome things. It's none of my business what you do with it. I'll wait for you at the port and make 2 French fries. After leaving these words, Lin Yan turned into a gust of wind and disappeared. After looking at the 100 million belly at his feet, Nami looked at the direction Lin Yan was leaving. Now, her heart is also warm. 2 hours later, Nami distributed 100 million belly and the dragon pirates' food evenly to the villagers of Kokoyashi village. After getting the grain and barley, all the villagers were in tears and their faces were full of gratitude. They all know it. If it weren't for Lin Yan, if it weren't for him, I'm afraid they would still be living under the oppression of the dragon pirates to this day. Everyone thanked Nami again and again. Many people kept asking where Lin Yan had gone. They wanted to say thank you in person. Nami knew that Lin Yan didn't want to cause trouble, so she lied apologetically. He comes and goes without a trace, and I don't know where he is. Nokigao came to Nami's side unknowingly. Glancing at the grain and barley, her face was full of joy. Fortunately, he is here, otherwise what will happen to Kokoyashi village next? I don't even dare to think about it. Yes. Nami nodded. Nami, let me help you. Nochigao helped Nami, and while distributing supplies, he asked, Nami, what kind of person do you think he is? Nami was stunned for a moment. Thinking back on our interactions these days. First encounter. Returning to Koko West village for the first time. Taking him to meet his sister for the first time. Touching his chin. I thought about it for a while. It took a long time to give the answer. He's a good guy. Peer. Sneeze. Lin Yan rubbed his nose. Who is talking bad about me behind my back? Although Eren in Koko West village was solved. But new problems arise. Eren. How to deal with it? Nami and Nogi didn't know what to do either. The two women turned their attention to Lin Yan. Lin Yan's idea was simple. Although 500 million baileys were obtained from the dragon pirates, who would think that money is too much? Moreover, Eren's reward. Looking at the entire East China Sea, it's not too low. Isn't 20 million baileys money? No matter how small a mosquito is, it is still meat. The truth is that a little adds up to a lot. Of course Lin Yan knew it. Under the expectant gazes of the two women, Lin Yan gave a 4-word answer. Throw it to Marine. Nokigao and Nami looked at each other. Leave it to Marine. Although Eren had an affair with Marine. But in the final analysis, that's just a secret deal with Colonel Mouse. Marine couldn't be any better. There are still many honest people inside. What's more, if not thrown to Marine, Eren will make a comeback one day. Lin Yan was gone. What should the people in Kokoyashi village do? Present. It seems that this is the most suitable place to deal with Eren. A few days later, when Marine's warship sailed into the port of Kokoyashi village. After seeing the people on the warship from afar, Lin Yan had a playful smile on his face. Haha, an old acquaintance is here. Master Lin Yan, do you know him? Nami asked curiously. I know you. Lin Yan replied. On the corridor of the warship, a man and a woman walked down. The man had a cigarette in his mouth, and the smoke was curling up. He looked around. He had white hair and a few wrinkles on his face. He looked to be in his 30s. He was wearing the uniform of Colonel Marine, and the badges on his chest were particularly dazzling. Taking a goose step, sonorous and powerful, stepping on the deck stairs, his voice can be heard in the stairs. The person who came was none other than Smoker, one of the current Marine colonels, yes, the same position as the Mouse colonels. But the difference is that Smoker hates these moths in Marine the most, and basically has no good feelings towards Colonel Mouse, a guy who eats everything inside and outside. Now he is stationed in Roger Town, the town where One Piece Roger started and ended. On strength. Not to mention the huge East China Sea. Even among Marines, Smoker ranks high. Next to Smoker is a woman wearing Corporal Marine's clothing. The clothing is not too tight, but it also outlines her figure in an orderly manner. There is a sword hanging on his waist, a pair of glasses on his face, and his long black hair is like a waterfall, and he looks a little natural. She is Smoker's assistant and the second in command of the Marine branch in Rogue Town, Dasky. Lin Yan held the unconscious Aaron in his hands and looked at the two people walking down the corridor. Talk about it. When I was in the Whitebeard Pirates. Lin Yan has already fought against Smoker. Lin Yan was not that strong at that time, and Smoker was also just a Marine recruit. The two of them can be said to be evenly matched. Never thought about it. Years passed. He obtained the dark fruit and left the Whitebeard Pirates. Smoker also thrived in Marine and has become a Marine colonel guarding one side. Colonel Smoker, is that guy Lin Yan? On the side, Dasky pushed up his glasses and looked at Lin Yan nervously. It is different from the world where news is closed. Regarding Lin Yan's killing of Team 4 Captain Saki and taking away the dark fruit, this matter caused too much trouble in the New World. Marine is also good. Even pirates. Who doesn't know what this guy has done? At the same time, the news was also delivered to Donghai Marine with lightning speed, and was captured by Smoker. At first, for such news, Smoker scoffed. Although it was due to position reasons in the early years. He and Lin Yan were in a state of opposition. But as the saying goes, no fight, no acquaintance. Smoker was lucky enough to have several contacts with Lin Yan. Not to mention they feel sympathy for each other, but they also share the same goals. It's a pity because of identity reasons. The two of them can't have fun over wine. But as the news spread, it spread wider and wider. Even the Whitebeard Pirates issued a kill order for Lin Yan, and even issued a reward order to the outside world. Gradually. Only then did Smoker realize the seriousness of the problem. I found out after asking around. Lin Yan really betrayed the Whitebeard Pirates. And he was hunted down by the Whitebeard Pirates everywhere in the New World. This. Smoker looked at the newspaper in front of him. Not to mention how unbelievable it is. Regardless of Sachi's influence in the New World, he is the captain of the 4th Division of the Whitebeard Pirates and a well-known figure in the New World. Just like Bybird's attitude of loving his subordinates like his own son. He would never let Lin Yan go so easily. Not to mention far away. Ace, the captain of the 2nd Division of the Whitebeard Pirates. Already embarked on the journey. Searching for Lin Yan all over the world. That's why. Smoker used to pay attention to New World newspapers for a while. I want to see where Lin Yan is. But there has been no news. Never expected it. Today. In the East China Sea. In this Cocoa West village. I met this guy who turned New World upside down. Not only are you capable of causing trouble, but you are also not very capable of hiding, and you even ended up in the East China Sea. Smoker walked up to Lin Yan, looked him up and down, and said in a cold voice. I can't help it, something like this happened. Lin Yan replied with a smile. Why did it suddenly show up again this time? Smoker asked. I have no money. Lin Yan shook the unconscious Aaron in his hand, and continued, catch a pirate to make some money, and I'll give you a boost of performance by the way. So, you still want me to thank you? That's not necessary. If possible, I don't mind going through the back door. If you give me a little more bounty, I won't be able to accept it. HMPH, don't think that just by saying nice things, I can help you. You are now a pirate. If I could, do you believe that I could capture you now and redeem the 1.5 billion belly? Lin Yan now. The Whitebeard pirates offer a reward of 1 billion. Although Whitebeard wanted to meet Lin Yan. But I can't stand the people below who are so disgusted. And Blackbeard's secret fire. The crew members of the White group were very angry. Not only has the reward of 1 billion Baileys not decreased, it has even continued to increase as time goes by. Because after Whitebeard issued the bounty order, Marine followed suit and placed a bounty of 500 million belly on him. In other words, if someone could split Lin Yan in two, you can receive a reward of 1.5 billion. Of course. This is just a hypothesis. 1.5 billion. Nami and Nokigao had been standing aside for a long time. By observing the two chatting, the two of them could roughly guess that Colonel Marine knew Lin Yan. You can follow Smoker to throw Lin Yan's bounty. Nami and Nuo Chigao's mouths suddenly opened into an O shape. This. Aaron, who has a bounty of 20 million belly, is already the ceiling of their imagination. They really can't imagine what kind of strong people those who offer a reward of more than 100 million are. Didn't expect that. Lin Yan's reward. Not only has it exceeded 100 million. It's even as high as 1.5 billion. Oh my gosh. How many errands is this worth? The sun shone on Lin Yan's face, shining brightly under the scorching sun. Under Smoker's heavy gaze, Lin Yan slowly raised his head and said softly. You can try it. Temporary mission. Defeat Smoker. Reward. B-level lottery. Lin Yan smiled. I never expected Smoker to be able to complete the mission. Now that we are here, he definitely won't miss it. Other side. After Smoker heard what Lin Yan said, a flash of fighting spirit flashed in his eyes. To be honest, in this East China Sea, Smoker hasn't played against anyone for a long time. Certainly. It's not that Smoker is reclusive, but an ordinary pirate. Basically, it's not his turn to come forward. It hasn't moved for a long time. Smoker also felt that his body was a little rusty. And Lin Yan. It is a good choice for mobilizing the tibia. Are you sure? I will not show mercy. If you are caught by me later, I will give you a pair of silver handcuffs. It's better not to say something too full. Yeah. The words fell. Smoker's body puffed out a burst of smoke. With the blessing of the smoke, he turned into a gust of wind and rushed towards Lin Yan at an extremely fast speed. So fast. Dasky didn't expect that the two people had a disagreement and drew swords at each other. She is also a strong player in swordsmanship. Dasky can certainly tell. Smoker showed his full strength when he met. This is a situation that ordinary pirates cannot understand at all. Facing Lin Yan, he wasn't careless at all. Boom. Less than a breath. Smoker punched Lin Yan in the face. Lin Yan ducked. Smoker's fist missed him. Come again. In the sky, Smoker twisted his body and struck with a sweeping leg. Lin Yan avoided it again. He grasped the distance between the two people perfectly. In the blink of an eye. The two of them walked for more than 20 rounds. Period. Smoker took the initiative and kept attacking. The smoke turned into fists. Flashed around him. But Lin Yan has been dodging. From beginning to end, Smoker never touched the corner of his clothes. After more than 20 rounds of punches hitting the air, Smoker angrily said, "Can you only hide?" "It's not that I can only hide." Lin Yan shook his head and continued, "Haven't you noticed it yet?" After he mentioned it, Smoker's face suddenly hardened. He naturally understood what Lin Yan meant. In terms of speed. I have been thrown away too much by the other party. You are too trusting. Smoker angrily yelled, "Show all your strength." Back then, I was still able to fight Lin Yan back and forth, and even had the upper hand several times. What's the result? Now, he is being suppressed by the other party. This made Smoker a little nervous. Moreover, deal with yourself. Lin Yan is still so arrogant. This guy is still so hateful. Okay, since you said so, then you should be optimistic. Lin Yan had a calm smile on his face. On his arm. Black flames appeared silently. Seeing Lin Yan preparing to take action, Smoker immediately tensed up his face. Staring at Lin Yan's body. Be prepared for the other party's attacks at any time. It's too late, it's fast. Smoker felt as if his eyes were in a trance. Lin Yan had disappeared from his sight. Disappeared. Smoker was so shocked that he just disappeared under his nose. This guy, how fast is he? Look around. Smoker desperately searched for Lin Yan. Up there. Smoker looked up at the sky. Sure enough. Lin Yan was directly above him. Now, he had already turned into a shooting star. It rushed towards Smoker at the most violent speed. Watching the other person's body expand rapidly in his eyes. Smoker wants to be defensive. But Lin Yan was faster than him. Smoker realized it was too late to defend himself. Logia's devil fruit was at its greatest effect at this moment. Smoker elementalized his body, trying to use elementalization ability to offset Lin Yan's attack. But will Lin Yan give him this chance? The next second. On Lin Yan's palm, a layer of dark-armed domineering energy emerged. Bang! Just heard a roar. Lin Yan hit Smoker's elemental incarnation hard with a heavy blow. PFF'd. Smoker couldn't defend himself, and he almost lost consciousness after one punch. A trace of blood spurted out of his mouth, and his eyes almost turned white. The whole person hit the ground, and a 5-meter large pit was created by him. Colonel Smoker. Dasky opened her mouth wide, and the shock on her face could no longer be contained. She looked at Lin Yan and couldn't come back to her senses for a long time. Except for Dashi. The other Marines behind him also had horrified expressions on their faces. Needless to say, Smoker's prestige in Rogue Town goes without saying. In the entire Rogue Town Marine Division, almost all Marine soldiers look up to Smoker. Why are you so convinced? Naturally, it is closely related to Smoker's strength. He is strong enough, polite and virtuous, honest and brave, and dares to challenge hegemony. Who joins Marine without passion and ambition at the beginning? Just the vast majority of people. They were all buried in this dirty officialdom. The appearance of Smoker. Like a new star in the dark clouds. With such a person who is not afraid of power taking the lead. This also gives them direction and motivation to move forward. This is also the reason why they admire Smoker. To be honest. Before hearing that Lin Yan wanted to talk to Professor Smoker. Many people scoffed. Said without politeness. Almost no one at Marine present was optimistic about Lin Yan. The name Lin Yan. If you don't deliberately pay attention to the major events in New World. None of them listened. Even if you have heard about it, read similar news, and seen similar newspapers. I'm afraid that it will all be forgotten within a moment or three. After all, reading newspapers is just fun for them. How is he a match for Smoker? Now, no one expected it. Their leader. Their beliefs. The object of their admiration. The goal they aspire to. Colonel Smoker was defeated. And he was defeated so completely. It would be fine to say that the two were indistinguishable and evenly matched. The point is, anyone can see it. From beginning to end. This pirate mostly just dodges. Really take action. That's the last punch. One punch. Just one punch. Then he beat Smoker to the ground. How can they not be shocked? How could they not be shocked? Everyone present took a deep breath. Just the words, impossible, were plastered on his face. If we talk about the beginning. Smoker was still in high spirits. Old friends reunited. Of course you have to use your fists to entertain. But it's better not to fight. After the fight. Smoker's whole life is filled with doubts. One punch. I was killed by this guy with one punch. Look at the wounds on the body. Even he was turned pale by it. But Smoker couldn't care less. He was as shocked as Marine at the scene was. What's more, Lin Yan was still standing next to him, looking like he was watching a good show. Smoker was so angry that he wanted to punch him twice. But in the end, he still held back. It seems that your choice is right. After a long time, Smoker climbed up from the pit, almost limping to Lin Yan and said. What are you talking about? Lin Yan was confused. I'm referring to your devil fruit. You made the right choice. If its increase is really so great, it's no wonder you betrayed the Whitebeard pirates. Smoker said bluntly. Betray the Whitebeard pirates. After hearing these words, Lin Yan closed his eyes, and the look of watching the show disappeared from his face. Instead, he became more solemn. He shook his head and said with a smile. Actually, I don't want to do this, just to become stronger. I have no choice. There is no dark fruit. I can't start the system myself. Only. This price made Lin Yan feel a little unacceptable. I never expected that Saki would die because of this incident. Teach. Just wait. Sooner or later. He must fight back. Smoker looked at Lin Yan seriously. After a while, he expressed the doubt that had been trapped in his heart for a long time. Saki, did you kill him? What you think? I don't believe it, you are not that kind of person. Smoker's decisive tone made Lin Yan startled. Never thought about it. As an outsider, Smoker actually has such extraordinary trust in himself. Lin Yan said with emotion, just because I said this to you, I will let you go today. Smoker's face also turned cold, and he said firmly, don't worry, for this punch today, I will definitely return it to you in the future. After delivering errand to Smoker, Smoker also offered a bounty of 20 million belly. After all Marines returned to the warship, Smoker led the people and drove towards Rog Town. Congratulations to host for completing the temporary mission, defeating Smoker. Winning the B-level lottery. The B-level rewards are being drawn, the drawing is complete. Congratulations to host for getting a light ship. Light ship. It has automatic forward thrust and can carry up to 10 people. Huh. Lin Yan quickly looked at his system. Isn't this a cultivation experience? Light ship. To know. Lin Yan's team now consists of only himself and Nami. Said it was a pirate group. Actually, Lin Yan didn't even have a boat. Returned to the four seas from New World. Lin Yan rode tourist boats all the way here. The advent of light ships. It solved Lin Yan's urgent need. At least, he also has a navigation vehicle. And more importantly, this light ship still has automatic forward thrust. What's the meaning? A perpetual motion machine that doesn't require any fuel, right? That is, in this pirate world. Make it modern instead. Maybe I can slice it for you. Of course. This is for Lin Yan. Naturally, this is good news. With tools, it can also navigate automatically. Saved a lot of effort. Why not? Problem solved in Cocoa West Village. Lin Yan set sail again. But it's different from before. Except for the light ship beneath my feet. Nami is also on her own ship. She has wanted to be a world-famous navigator since she was a child. It's a pity because of the dragon pirates. Suffering oppression, she had to fight for the people of Cocoa West Village. Now with Lin Yan's intervention. After getting relief, she also returned to her old career. Start drawing nautical charts. At the same time, after Nami got on the boat, system rewards follow. Congratulations to host for the side mission, recruiting a crew. Request. Is it the style of a great captain to be a loner? Host, please recruit a crew member as soon as possible to integrate more new people into your team. Rewards. No limit judgment based on recruiting characters. The stronger the influence of the original work, the more generous the rewards will be. Determining rewards. Recruiting characters. Nami. Identity. S-Class. Congratulations to host, you won the S-level lottery. Lin Yan's eyes lit up. It was indeed what he thought. S-level reward. This is the treatment only available for main mission, establishing a pirate group. Now, this reward. Let Lin Yan get it on Nami. Dear host, do you want to draw an S-level reward? The system asked. Extract. Lin Yan answered without hesitation. The S-level rewards are being drawn, the drawing is complete. Congratulations to host for getting 5 years of training experience, all attributes increased by 5 levels, any door. 3 rewards. The moment I saw the S-level reward released by the system, Lin Yan froze on the spot for a long time. In the past, there have always been C-level draws and B-level draws, and each draw was only for a single item, and it was most likely based on training experience. There are 3 S-level rewards. Whether it is 5 years of training experience, or all attributes have been upgraded by 5 levels. This is for Lin Yan. Everything is a qualitative leap. What's more, there is also an arbitrary door. Any door, after opening it, it can help the host travel to various parts of the world. Prerequisite. The target area needs to be explored. Although you need to explore the area before using any door. But it was still very useful to Lin Yan. Just think about it. If you encounter someone you can't beat in the future. In other words, you encounter an opponent who is too powerful before your strength improves. If you need to run away. Here comes the role of any door. Return to Cocoa West Village in an instant. The opponent could only stare. This is simply a magical skill. Character: Lin Yan. Talent: outstanding. Fruit: dark fruit, LV 50. Ability: physical skills, LV 57. Hockey: armed hockey, LV 52. Knowledge hockey, LV 50. Conqueror's hockey, LV 50. Item: any door. After all, it's still an S-level reward. Lin Yan sighed. In the blink of an eye, Lin Yan and Nami have been sailing at sea for a month. During this period, Lin Yan also practiced hard. Even if the strength improves quickly enough. But he still couldn't shake his determination to become stronger. Be prepared for danger in times of peace. Always keep moving forward. Congratulations to host for completing the side mission, practicing hard. Request: please host to practice hard for a month. Reward: C-level lottery. The C-level rewards are being drawn, the drawing is complete. Congratulations to host for getting half a year of training experience. With the influx of half a year's cultivation experience. Now, all side tasks released by the system except the main task. He has already completed them all. Look at your system panel. Lin Yan counted the cultivation experience he had gained in detail. I have been completing tasks like crazy lately. Lin Yan's cultivation experience has been accumulated for 10 years. On board the Whitebeard pirates. He has also seen Ace and his friends spend 3 days fishing and 2 days drying nets. But what's the result? Even so, Ace and the others are still growing in strength day by day. Regardless of the current bounty of 500 million, Ace is the captain of the second division of the Whitebeard pirates. How old is he now? 20 hasn't even arrived yet. It's not just Ace and Luffy and the others. Sabayati Islands practice for 2 years. Wano country suffered 3 blows from Kaitao. Then somehow I can compete with the 4 emperors. Is 4 emperors really that easy to fight? If the 4 emperors were really so easy to fight, would Marine still be so aggressive in the middle of a war? Just think about it. Let them gain 10 years of cultivation experience. God knows how powerful it will be. Maybe even Kaido will have to surrender. Reflect on yourself. Even if you get the system, you have to work hard to this extent. My abilities in various aspects have only accumulated to about LV 50. Look at this result. Lin Yan still couldn't help but sigh. Talent is this thing. It is really reflected vividly here. It's so irritating that people are so different from each other. There's no comparison. There's really no comparison. Of course, Lin Yan was just sighing. To know. From his acquisition of the dark fruit, his subsequent betrayal of the Whitebeard pirates, and his recruitment of Nami to the present day. How long has it been since? It only takes 2 months. In 2 months, his strength has skyrocketed to this level. Huh. Lin Yan suddenly came back to his senses. It seems that I am not qualified to criticize them. After completing the side mission, new tasks are released again. Main mission: establish a pirate group. Request: as a pirate, what can you do without a pirate group? Host is requested to have an exquisite ship as a navigation tool as soon as possible. The staff should be at least 5 people including host, and ensure that everyone has influence in the original work. Achieved level A. Reward: S-level lottery. Side mission: big event new. Request: as a pirate, you must naturally have a well-known influence. Please ask host to complete a major event that shocks the world, and make host's reward for this major event exceed 1 billion. The reward for the Whitebeard pirates is not included, the current marine bounty is 500 million. Reward: no limit judgment based on the events done by the host. The stronger the influence, the higher the judgment level. Side mission: practice hard, new. Request: please host to practice hard for a month. Reward: C-level lottery. This time, there are only 2 tasks issued by the system. Said it was 2. Actually it is 1. In addition to the main mission that has never been completed, there is also the last step of practicing hard on the Tiger Bomb. Lin Yan's gaze. It fell on this task of a big event. Sensational in the world. Famous far and wide. There are unlimited rewards. Ever since I experienced it with Nami. Lin Yan also realized how generous the S-level rewards were. Since there are unlimited rewards, whatever I say must be up to the S level. Looking at the task panel, Lin Yan touched his chin. This judgment is somewhat cold and ambiguous. To know. Needless to say, Nami's influence in the original work. Lin Yan also found a loophole in this mission. An S-level reward obtained through opportunism. But this wants to achieve a well-known influence. You have to do it yourself with real swords and guns. Not to mention far away. Even if it makes a big fuss in Donghai and attacks the headquarters of Donghai Marine. I'm afraid it may not be able to achieve the effective S-level. And more importantly, he also needs his own bounty to reach 1 billion, not counting the Whitebeard pirate's bounty. Lin Yan suddenly felt that one person was as big as two people. The difficulty level of this mission is a bit outrageous. What's wrong with you? After getting along with Lin Yan for a month, Nami was still a little restrained at first. After all, for her, Lin Yan's kindness could never be repaid in her lifetime. But as time went by, Nami also discovered Lin Yan's family. Especially since Lin Yan repeatedly stressed that he should be more relaxed and there was no need to be like this. Gradually, Nami also regained her original lively temperament. Now seeing Lin Yan frowning, she stepped forward with curiosity and asked. I'm thinking. Lin Yan replied. Can you tell me? Maybe I can help you with something. Nami made suggestions. You want to know? Of course. Seeing Nami's eager look, Lin Yan thought about it for a while and said, I'm thinking about how to make my reward become 1 billion. As soon as this statement came out, Nami, who had been interested just now, suddenly held back. It was as if I had just walked out of the door and was sprayed by a sprinkler. The good mood of the day was instantly wiped out. No, my captain. What are you thinking about all day long? 1 billion reward. Do you know what this means? Aaron is so bad that he only has a reward of 20 million Baileys. Listen to Lin Yan's words. Nami was as outrageous as if she heard Li Ronghao endorsing Kazi Lauder. It's not that she is ignorant. But the environment in the East China Sea is like this. In such a vast sea area, not even a single person with a reward of 100 million can be found. Nami couldn't imagine how powerful a person with 1 billion belly bounty could be. But everyone gathered firewood and the flames were high. It doesn't take a moment. Nami actually came up with an idea. I have an idea. Tell me and listen. Lin Yan didn't expect that Nami really had a way. Recently, to draw nautical maps, Nami flipped through a lot of books. During this period, in addition to Nami's wealth of knowledge, she also became very knowledgeable. What's more important is to understand the current world situation, and the group of world nobles who have been on top of the world all year round, standing at Mary Joa. Nami said seriously, Captain, have you ever heard of the celestial dragons? It's okay if Nami doesn't say anything. After bringing up the celestial dragons, Lin Yan reacted immediately. At first glance, this task seems quite difficult. But when the option of Tianlong people is added, everything became easy to solve. What is the identity of the Tianlong people? The descendants of the 20 kings who established the world government more than 800 years ago have always regarded themselves as creators, and their privileges have been passed down from generation to generation. Once you see them as a target, not to mention being offered a reward of 1 billion by Marine, even 2 billion or 3 billion is not impossible. Certainly. The only thing worth being afraid of is the Tianlong people's cake was moved. It will definitely lead to an encirclement and suppression by General Marine. It goes without saying how powerful General Marine is. For ordinary pirates, you can basically declare GG when you encounter them. It can be said that he can now compete with General Marine. Lin Yan naturally couldn't do it. Don't forget it. I just got any door. Facing General Marine. At least. You have the capital to escape. So many years of hard training. Lin Yan also suppressed a lot of bitterness in his heart. It's time to find someone unlucky to vent your anger on. Isn't life just about running around for fame and fortune? What's more, S-level rewards cannot be ignored. The arrow is already on the string and has to be fired. Half a month later. Sabayati Islands. Is it right here? Lin Yan looked at the sea in front of him, looked at Nami and asked. As a famous navigator in the pirate world, Nami's current abilities are not as good as when she reaches the new world in the future. But also with great talent. She has mastered the waters of the Grand Line with ease. Captain, I have already found out clearly that the Tianlong man will go to the Sabayati Islands from this route. Nami nodded and answered in the affirmative. But, after saying that, Nami was still hesitant. I proposed this idea to Lin Yan before. She was just talking. At that time, the celestial dragons were just a world noble in the concept of existence to her. Nami has not yet realized how dangerous the celestial dragons are. Recently, understand the status of the celestial dragons in Mariajoya, especially since any encounter would lead to an encirclement and suppression by General Marine. Nami was also shocked. A mouse colonel can subdue RNG. Not to mention the 3 generals from Marine headquarters. These are the top people in Marine. Countless people are rushing towards the goal that they want to pursue throughout their lives. Even among the huge Marines, there are only 3 of them. Never expected it. Lin Yan did as he said. Turn the ship around, cross the windless zone from the East China Sea, and arrive at the Sabayati Islands. This efficiency. Nami couldn't help but be stunned when she saw it. This captain of my own. He really wants to take action against the Tianlong people. Nami said anxiously, Captain, do you really want to attack the Tianlong people? Just in case. Lin Yan glanced at Nami. We have reached this point, do you think there is still room for maneuver? Nami shook his head and continued, Actually, I am worried about your safety. You have been put on a bounty by the Whitebeard pirates. If you provoke Marine, I'm afraid. Speaking of which, Nami was a little worried. Both Black and White are offended. It was such a big event that happened right away. If you don't sing, you will be a blockbuster. Nami feels crazy just thinking about it. After living a mediocre life for so long, it's time to add a rich color to my life. Lin Yan naturally understood what Nami meant. When he said this, he suddenly paused and added, Besides, don't you want to be famous throughout the world? Hear this. Nami was speechless. It is impossible to say that you don't want to become famous. Only. Nami never thought that it would be heard all over the world in such a way. Now that you're on my ship, you have to get used to this kind of thing from now on. Lin Yan laughed, patted Nami on the shoulder, and then added, This storm is about to begin. While talking. But I saw it on the sea level not far away. Suddenly a huge battleship appeared. Even though they are far apart, Lin Yan and Nami can still feel the luxury of Yamato on the giant ship. This is the fleet from Mariajoya, carrying the celestial dragons who claim to be descendants of the king. On the deck of the giant ship, Saint Bartholomew, who was wearing a fishbowl hood, lowered his head and looked at the small boat in the distance of the giant ship. Saint Bartholomew frowned. Why is there a ship in front? On the side, after the subordinates saw this scene, they quickly came to the front of the giant ship and shouted loudly, Where did you come from? Who allowed you to appear in this sea area? Get out of the way of the great Saint Bartholomew. Untouchable. Bartholomew Street. Lin Yan had never heard of this name. But since the word, holy, is hanging on it, you don't need to think about it to know that this guy must be a celestial dragon. Lin Yan narrowed his eyes, and his body turned into a ball of flame. He stood up from the ground and rushed towards the giant wheel in an instant. On deck, Lin Yan fell from the sky and hit the ground. The violent movement caused the entire giant wheel to be shaken. Saint Bartholomew looked at Lin Yan in front of him. Although he had runny nose, it did not affect his arrogance at all. He shouted, Untouchable, who let you board my ship? After Lin Yan came up, the surrounding escorts and crew members instantly drew out their weapons and blocked the 3 outer and outer floors of Bartholomew's Saint. Everyone clearly realized that Lin Yan was coming with bad intentions. If only Saint Bartholomew had suffered. They definitely can't eat and walk around. Lin Yan glanced at them. The so-called Tianlong people, are these the only guards? What do you want to do? The subordinate next to Bartholomew Saint pointed at Lin Yan and shouted. Can't you see? Rob the ship. Lin Yangfeng replied calmly. Crazy guy. Hear this. The middle-aged man had veins popping out on his forehead. He has never heard anything like this since he became a subordinate of the Tianlong people. Who are the celestial dragons? Because they think so highly of themselves, they even disdain to breathe the same air as ordinary people. They range from ordinary pirates to powerful men from all walks of life in the New World. Who dares to attack the celestial dragons? Who doesn't know what kind of price will be incurred by offending the celestial dragons? This ship is a giant ship of the world government. Not to mention pirates, even those strong men from all walks of life have to steal it when they see it. What's the result? The young man in front of me. The hijacking of the ship went to the head of the Tianlong people. The middle-aged man yelled, "Do you know what you are talking about? The owner of this ship is the fleet under the banner of the great Bartholomew, the world noble of Mereggio. Blind your dog's eyes, and quickly give it to the great Bartholomew. Lord Miao Sheng, please kneel down and apologize, so that we can leave you with a complete body." He, ha 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 ha. Lin Yan transformed into Uchiha and laughed wildly at the four heroes, and the sound of laughter echoed on the deck. "Why are you laughing?" the middle-aged man asked. "I hope you can still be as unruly as you are now." The words fell. Lin Yan dodged and disappeared. On a light boat. A Saint Bartholomew with a bruised nose, swollen face, tears and bruises on his face was lying on the boat. Lin Yan and Nami were watching. Especially Nami, looking up and down, as if entering a zoo to look at rare treasures. Is this the celestial dragon who is known as the clan of gods? Nami really can't believe it. Why do the celestial dragons look like this? He is short in stature, covered in fat, and extremely ugly. The clothes he wears also look extremely expensive. Such people. Is it really as miraculous as the outside world says? You two untouchables, how dare you attack the great Saint Bartholomew? I must turn you into my slaves, torture you so hard, and make your life worse than death. Quote. Although he had turned into a pig's head, he was lying on the ground covered in fat and was out of breath. But even so, Saint Bartholomew still had anger in his eyes, and he kept cursing and shouting at Lin Yan and Nami. The current situation is not clear at all. Seeing the other party's appearance, Lin Yan had a smile on his lips. He is as arrogant as ever, and has an IQ that cannot match his status. He is so stupid that it makes people laugh. This sour smell hits my face. Lin Yan hugged his hands, and Jonan couldn't help but smile. The smell of Tianlong is too strong. Captain, what are you going to do next? Nami was curious about what Lin Yan wanted to do next. The celestial dragons are undoubtedly a hot potato. If one is not handled properly, I'm afraid they will all end badly. I do have an idea. Lin Yan already had a plan. The power of the dark fruit emerged on his arm. Take a step forward. Lin Yan put a hand on Bartholomew Saint's head. The power of the dark fruit poured in. I saw Saint Bartholomew's cheeks suddenly began to swell in front of me, his facial features began to distort in an ugly way, his body spasmed one after another, and his wailing voice resounded throughout the ship, and finally turned into a low pitch. Holy Land Marie Joya. In Penghu City, the base of world government, in a magnificent hall, the five elders gathered together. Compared with their previous high spirits, their faces at this moment were so cold that they could drip with water. In front of them, kneeling was a trembling middle-aged man. Next to the middle-aged man, there was a fat pig lying on his stomach. This fat pig only had its last breath left. It was dying, as if it was about to die. I'm asking you again, is this guy really Saint Bartholomew? One of the five elders, Topman Warball Lisheng, who had the code name of Mercury, almost said this through gritted teeth. Yes, it's Saint Bartholomew. I saw it with my own eyes. I saw that guy holding down Saint Bartholomew's head, and I don't know what evil method he used, and then Street Bartholomew became this pig. The middle-aged man hasn't finished speaking yet. Bang! The bullet passed through his head. His head exploded on the spot. The scene was dripping with blood, and the red and white liquids were mixed together, looking so out of place in this vast palace. Saint Topman Wally threw aside the gun that was emitting gunpowder smoke. He looked at the other five elders behind him. Saint Bartholomew's body is full of traces of the dark fruit. He is currently the only one in the world. A known dark fruit ability user is none other than Lin Yan, who betrayed the Whitebeard pirates a while ago. Saint Marcus Mars frowned deeply, and the anger in his heart had reached an uncontrollable level. He angrily shouted, "Isn't this guy a nobody? Where does he have the courage to dare to attack the Tianlong people?" Quote. Shepherd 10 Peter Saint followed closely. I just took action against the celestial dragon. I even used the power of the dark fruit to turn him into a pig. If I don't give him severe punishment, who will put the celestial dragon in the future? In the eyes. Zambalong v. Nasho Langsheng lowered his head and said coldly, we must not let this news spread. The influence this time is too bad. To be honest. If only the Tianlong people were killed. They can spread the news to the outside world, saying that the ignorant pirates have angered the celestial dragons, and they can call on Marine to encircle and suppress them. Not only did it protect the face of the world government, but it also discouraged the pirates from taking action against the celestial dragons. But the problem is, Saint Bartholomew has now been turned into a fat pig by the dark fruit. This nature. But it has completely changed. This is not only a slap in the face of the world government, but also tramples on the supreme dignity of the Tianlong people. A little Lin Yan dared to do this, God knows what the other pirates thought. If the news spreads throughout the new world, not only the world government, but also the other celestial dragons they have guarded for more than 800 years will lose their face. Celestial dragon equals fat pig. This is much more serious than simply killing a celestial dragon. Just when several people were discussing how to deal with this matter, the door of the palace was opened. A leader from Penghu City, dressed in a suit and with beads of sweat on his forehead, hurried in. My lords, something bad has happened. A newspaper fell in front of the 5 elders. The moment he saw the newspaper, the table was kicked over by the hot-tempered topman Walgreens. There is a bold and eye-catching headline on the newspaper. Shocking. The true identity of the celestial dragons, known as the Clan of Gods, is actually. Directly below the newspaper are photos of Saint Bartholomew before and after he became a fat pig. The photo was just average, but the traces of Saint Bartholomew could still be discerned. In the main hall, no one can describe their feelings in words. How dare he bring the news about Saint Bartholomew to the world? This guy is so lawless. Warring States, ask Warring States to come here personally and increase the reward for Lin Yan to 2 billion. Regardless of life or death, as long as I can capture him, I will definitely cut him into pieces. Also, inform the intelligence agencies and the CP organization that no matter what, even if Lin Yan escapes to the ends of the earth, he must be eliminated. The 5 elders were completely angered by Lin Yan's behavior. As the newspapers fermented, the story about the celestial dragon Saint Bartholomew turned into a fat pig. It has already spread throughout the world. The moment I saw the newspaper, not only the Marines were shaken, the world government was shaken. Even the pirates on the Grand Line were shocked by it. Under ordinary circumstances, not to mention attacking the celestial dragons, if you see the celestial dragons not kneeling down, it is already a huge offense. How could it be like Lin Yan, who directly turned Tianlong into a pig's head? At this moment, whether it is the 4 seas or the Great Sea route. Because the news is too exciting. In less than 2 days, things have reached an unstoppable level. This is still a state where the world government and Marine have intervened. But it still couldn't hold back the rising popularity among the people. This is really crazy. For the celestial dragons. As long as he is a normal person, few people will have a favorable opinion of him. It's just that because of his identity, he dares not speak out in anger at his arrogant and domineering behavior. Now, suddenly news came that shocked the world. The Tianlong people were not only captured, but even reduced to this. Those who have been oppressed by the Tianlong people only feel extremely happy in their hearts. And Lin Yan's name has once again set off a wave of craze on the Grand Route. Sabayati Islands Tavern. Have you heard? There is news about Saint Bartholomew, the celestial dragon who has become popular recently. This newspaper has been filled with newspapers all over the world, and everyone knows who doesn't know. I really didn't expect that this aloof Tianlong man would be turned into a fat pig. It's so satisfying. It's so satisfying to be able to punish these people who do all kinds of evil. I like Lin Yan's character. But having said that, is this really good? This guy Lin Yan was originally wanted by the Whitebeard pirates, and now he has provoked Marine. If you didn't tell me, I would have forgotten that this guy is even offered a 1 billion reward by the Whitebeard pirates. Do you know where this Lin Yan is? Marine has offered a bounty of 2 billion, and the Whitebeard pirates have offered a bounty of 1 billion. A fledgling guy has such a high bounty. Don't tell me, I'm really excited. Quote. You can pull him down. This guy is probably hiding now. It's not easy to find him. At Marine, I heard that the Warring States period went to Marigio and was punished. After returning to Marineland, the generals took action personally and must capture this guy alive. Aren't these 5 elders going crazy? There's a good show to watch. Inside the tavern, There were voices of discussion everywhere. Some people applauded, some stood aside and watched, and some waited to see the show. But more importantly, he still coveted Lin Yan's reward. Many people are gearing up. I want to make a lot of money. When the news outside is overwhelming. New world. Among the Whitebeard pirates. Compared with their hatred for Lin Yan a while ago, the Whitebeard pirates now look forward to the stars and the moon, and finally get news about Lin Yan. Finally I saw some clues about Lin Yan in the newspaper. A sudden scene. Naturally, it attracted the attention of many crew members. Any news about the traitor? Look, what is it? Wait, let me read this newspaper. Shocked. The celestial dragons, known as the clan of gods. A crew member took the newspaper and began to read its content. But I keep thinking about it. The crew member suddenly felt something was wrong. This content. The news that it was Lin Yan was true. What does it mean to add Tianlong people? Doubts arose in the minds of the crew members, and they read the entire article immediately. However, that's it. The crew members only felt that they had been hit hard in their minds, and they all fell silent. No. What does it mean? Lin Yan, why did you suddenly attack the Tianlong people? And also turned the Tianlong people into fat pigs? The crew members who read the newspaper were a little confused. He realized that this was no ordinary trivial matter. The news must be known to Dad as soon as possible. Dad, look at this newspaper, it's about Lin Yan. The crew quickly ran onto the Mobi, came to Whitebeard, and presented the newspaper in their hands. What happened on the sea recently? Why are you so panicked? Whitebeard glanced at the crew member and said, it's Lin Yan, there's news about Lin Yan in the newspaper. Although the crew member was panting, he could still manage to answer. The words, Lin Yan, were already like a forbidden area on the Mobi. Hear the words of the crew. Marco, Josie and Bista, who were on the side, immediately turned their heads. About Lin Yan. What's the news? What did this guy do? Why is he on the news? Are you going to take action against our pirate crew? The three Marcos came to Whitebeard. Dad, you, see for yourself. The crew ran too hastily and just placed the newspaper in front of Whitebeard. When Whitebeard heard this, he also became serious. He took the crew member's newspaper and read it carefully out of curiosity. However, after reading it, Whitebeard also fell silent. There was surprise, doubt, and confusion on his face. Since this newspaper can be delivered to the waters of the Whitebeard pirates, it is enough to prove that this news has already resounded throughout the New World. Lin Yan. They really took action against the Tianlong people. Seeing my father look like this. The three Marcos also took the newspapers one by one. Just finished watching it. Several people couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. This is Lin Yan crazy. It's not enough to beat up the celestial dragon, he even turned the celestial dragon into a pig's head. Josie opened his mouth, his face full of surprise. Is this really the Lin Yan we know? When did he have such courage? Doesn't it feel enough for him to be wanted by our pirate group? He even dares to provoke the celestial dragons. Bista was also in disbelief. I'm afraid that not only General Marine's encirclement and suppression, but also the group of guys in the world government will definitely not let Lin Yan stay alive on the Grand Line. Now Lin Yan is really in danger. Marco rubbed his chin and thought. Whitebeard read the newspaper. Although Whitebeard didn't want to start a wanted hunt for Lin Yan, he couldn't stand the people below and wanted to avenge Bista. This also led to the fact that the reward for the Whitebeard pirates had not been removed for a long time. When he was wanted by his own people. Logically speaking, Lin Yan should hide as much as possible now. 1 billion Baileys, a reward for a weak person. Those pirates and bounty hunters would never let Lin Yan go. A normal person would choose to hide and avoid being hunted. But Lin Yan was fine. Not only did he not hide, he even did the opposite. Long time no see. Directly poke out such a huge hole. This scene. Even Whitebeard had to sigh. Lived so long. He has never seen such a death-seeking person. Of course. Suicide is suicidal. But Whitebeard laughed loudly and raised the newspaper in his hand. Lin Yan, this guy, has really grown up fast enough, and now he dares to do such big things, but he just doesn't know, can this guy survive being surrounded by Marine? Marco said. Dad, Ace still refuses to come back. A while ago, Marco received an order from Whitebeard and personally went to find Ace, hoping to get him to return. Unfortunately, Ace refused outright. He bluntly said that he must avenge Saki, and he would not return until Lin Yan was caught. Marco was helpless. We can only return to Moby. Whitebeard put down the newspaper, closed his eyes and sighed. Let him go. It would be great if we brought Lin Yan back. Just a few days. Not to mention the Whitebeard pirates. The news that the celestial dragons had turned into fat pigs had also reached the ears of the other 4 emperors. The red-haired pirates. This Lin Yan is the pirate who betrayed the Whitebeard pirates a while ago, right? Shanks looked at the newspaper in his hand and asked Ben Beckman. It's him. Ben Beckman has always been known for his calmness, but at this moment, he couldn't hold himself back. I really didn't expect that this guy didn't even get rid of the pursuit of the Whitebeard pirates, but he turned around and killed the Tianlong people. I have offended the world government. 2 billion bounty, tisk tisk tisk, those guys from 5 elders should be furious now. Holding a chicken drumstick in his hand, Lachalu looked like he was watching a good show. It's more than just turning into a pig, and even making it public, ha 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 ha. Even though Mary Joa is very quiet now, I'm afraid everyone inside has already left. Jesus laughed loudly. Lin Yan did something he had always wanted to do but failed to do. All in all, from this bad incident, we can see that Lin Yan is definitely not a simple guy. If we meet him in the future, he will never turn against him if he can. Ben Beckman warned. I just don't know how Whitebeard feels. Shanks looked towards the sky, a strange color flashing in his eyes. Big Mom pirates. Is this guy really from the Whitebeard pirates? How can he be so tormented? Katakuri grabbed the newspaper, and there were a few wrinkles on it, and he frowned. I don't know what he was thinking. He offended the Whitebeard pirates, and now he's offended the world government. Does he think his death was not miserable enough? Perospero stuck out his long tongue and shouted angrily. Haha, just watch the show. This guy Lin Yan helped us get rid of a captain of the Whitebeard pirates, which weakened the power of the Whitebeard pirates. I hope there are more people like this. One of the 3 generals, Smoothie, sat on a chair with his legs crossed and said in an indifferent tone. Beast pirates. In a cave. Kaido, who smelled of alcohol, looked at the newspaper in front of him and didn't speak for a long time. Even the wine jar in his hand was frozen in the air. To his left and right are the other 3 major boards of the Beast Pirates. Jin, Quinn, and Ship King Jack. Interesting. After a long time, Kaido finally said this. The Grand Line. Unknown waters. A lonely ship is drifting on the sea. Shocking. The true identity of the celestial dragons, known as the Clan of Gods, is actually. Look at the headlines in the newspaper. Lin Yan raised the corner of his mouth. Good. That's exactly the title he came up with. The UC department should be lacking talents like me. A few days down. Lin Yan's reward rose to 2 billion. Not just myself. Even Nami on the side was found by Marine from nowhere because of his advice, and Lin Yan's crew, status, and the reward was directly raised to 300 million belly. The moment I saw the reward notice, Nami's eyes widened. This. Is this a bounty of 300 million Baileys? The dragon pirates who were so arrogant in the East China Sea did so many evil things and were so notorious, but they only had 20 million belly. A blink of an eye. He surpassed them by more than 15 times. And the most important thing is, it seems like I haven't done anything. Certainly. It's not like she didn't do anything, at least she pointed the way. But even so, it also made Nami feel that this was a bit too magical. But this also proves from the side what the celestial dragons mean to the world government. Congratulations to host for completing the side mission, big event. Requirement. As a pirate, you must have a well-known influence. Please ask host to complete a major event that will shock the world, and make host's reward for this major event exceed 1 billion. The current marine bounty is 2 billion. Reward. No limit judgment based on the events done by the host. The stronger the influence, the higher the judgment level. Rewards are being determined. Big event. Attack on the celestial dragons, shocking Mariajoya, the world is boiling, and attracting worldwide attention. Reward. S level. Congratulations to host, you won the S level lottery. Another S-level reward. A flash of enthusiasm flashed in Lin Yan's eyes. Dear host, do you want to hold an S-level lottery? Yes. The S-level rewards are being drawn, the drawing is complete. Congratulations to host for getting 5 years of training experience, all attributes increased by 5 levels, and Fairy Beans X10. Lin Yan glanced over. Really? And the S-level rewards are much more awesome. Lin Yan's eyes fell on the last Fairy Bean. Fairy Beans, flesh and bones of living and dead people. Take one pill and you can instantly recover all injuries and physical strength, and you don't need to eat for 10 days. Note: major diseases cannot be cured. Restores all injuries and stamina. Isn't this the thing in Dragon Ball? Talk about it. There is something really supermodel about this Sendo thing. You'd say it's fine for early use. In the later period, martial arts conferences were held throughout the universe. Turns out the fairy beans still come in handy. Really perverted. But, when this perverted thing falls into his hands, Lin Yan could only smile and say nothing. What perversion? What supermodel? Did I say that? The existence of any door allows Lin Yan to shuttle back and forth in the lit area, which is really a weapon for escape. And the existence of fairy beans is equivalent to giving Lin Yan 10 lives. If I can't beat you, it's okay, I can kill you even if I kill you. The great sage plays like the great sage, and the horse has the playing style of the horse. With these two abilities, as long as the opponent doesn't lose him for a second, he is equivalent to already having the capital to be undefeated. Character: Lin Yan. Talent: outstanding. Fruit: dark fruit, LV 60. Ability: physical skills, LV 65. Hockey: armed hockey, LV 62. Knowledge hockey, LV 60. Conqueror's hockey, LV 60. Item: any door, Fairy Beans X10. Look at your character panel. With the introduction of 2S level rewards, Lin Yan at this moment, even in the future, you may not be able to win yourself down in one fell swoop. And once you can't take it, combined with any door and fairy beans, Lin Yan could definitely fight back. In other words, facing a strong man at the level of a general. I also have the strength to compete with it. Are the supplies gone? I have been wandering on the sea for a long time and caused such a big incident. I haven't landed on the island for a long time. Even the food in the system warehouse was squandered. It's time to go to the island for supplies. In a small town. The town is not big, but it has a population of hundreds of households. Because it deviates from the main waterway, young people have gone out to explore, and those who continue to stay on the island are the older generation. Work from sunrise to sunset, living an ordinary life. After bringing all the big and small bags, Lin Yan is ready to set sail again. Suddenly, he glanced at Nami out of the corner of his eye. After thinking for a while, Lin Yan said, Nami, how many clothes do you still have on the boat? Well, Nami was stunned for a moment and said, why do you ask this? The weather on this grand route is complicated and unpredictable. It would be bad if you catch a cold. Lin Yan replied. Hear this. Nami lowered his head slightly. I didn't expect that Lin Yan would pay attention to this. She said warmly, it's okay. I have enough clothes. Lin Yan insisted. No, I see you only have those few sets of clothes coming back and forth. As my navigator, how can you wear such shabby clothes? Buy more. You don't have to worry about money. Women have a unique fascination with shopping. Nami is no exception. In the past, we often lived in dire straits. As a result, she rarely cares about spending money. But things are different now. Everyone has a love for beauty. The same goes for Nami. Lin Yan was willing to go shopping with him. How could she be unhappy? Nami asked expectantly. Really? Walk. Just do it. Lin Yan took Nami around the streets of the town. An hour later, Nami looked at the several sets of JK clothing in various styles of black silk in her hands and fell into deep thought. All purchased. The two returned to the ship together. Etc. Just when Nami was about to board the boat, Lin Yan suddenly raised his hand and pulled Nami. What's wrong? Nami still wanted to ask, but turned around and saw Lin Yan's serious expression. Moment. She seemed to realize something. Lin Yan pulled Nami behind him. His eyes swept around. Come out. After a long time, Lin Yan said coldly. In the surrounding jungle, the breeze swayed the grass and trees. From behind the giant tree, 5 men wearing white suits, white robes, and strange masks walked out. The moment he saw these people, Lin Yan narrowed his eyes and said their identities, CP0. Yes. The person who came here is one of the lackeys of the world government, a member of the CP organization, CP0. Previously, among the Whitebeard pirates, Lin Yan has seen the power of the CP organization before. CP organization. It has bypassed the Marine and the world government, and is directly affiliated with the world noble, that is, a member of the Celestial Dragons. It is one of the most powerful intelligence agencies in the world. The ruthlessness of its members is rare in ancient times. Among CP9, Lu Qi is a good example. In order to become stronger, do whatever it takes. The people may not know much about it. But anyone who has the ability. Who doesn't know their names? Although Nami didn't know what CP0 was, she clearly felt that the other party was coming for her based on his posture. Lock Lin Yan and Nami. A person from the intelligence agency. The action is ruthless. After just one encounter, the silver light struck down, and the sword's light and shadow had already fallen on Lin Yan's body. Just for a moment, Lin Yan hugged Nami's waist. The two of them quickly backed away. Just as they left, they heard a bang and a crack was created in the ground. Lin Yan glanced at the 5 people wearing masks and said, "The 5 elders are really brave, even you are sent out. If you touch the Tianlong people, you won't be able to walk out alive today." The leader of the CP0 member swung his sword, his cold light revealed, and his voice was like a cold machine, without any emotion. Lin Yan placed Nami aside. "Wait for me here." "Say it." He turned around. Lin Yan's eyes focused on the 5 people in front of him, and he said, "It's really scary to be threatened by people from the CP organization. Are you going to attack one by one or together?" Being able to step into the CP organization is enough to prove that their abilities are outstanding. It's like being under Lu Qi's command. Whether it's Bruno or Khalifa, everyone is on their own. It's obvious. The same is true for the 5 people from the CP0 organization in front of me. Able to sneak and track one's whereabouts. Their strength is evident in Madara. Listening to Lin Yan's words, the unknown CP0 leader sneered. "Humph, you really think highly of yourself. I am enough to deal with a nobody like you." They also investigated Lin Yan's identity. But he is just an inconspicuous pirate in the Whitebeard pirates. After practicing for so many years, he still looks like he can't help himself. I don't know where he got the courage to dare to challenge the world government and the Tianlong people. Since you insist on seeking death, then I will make it happen for you. Go to hell. The unknown leader of the CP0 organization dropped a harsh word. Then the whole person transformed into a suit of wind, stepping on one of the 6 styles of moonwalk and shaving. At the same time, the armed domineering energy attached to his arm, and he punched Lin Yan in the face. However, at the moment he acted, Lin Yan also started to move. In just one breath, he came to the unknown CP0 leader. The last move came first, and before he had time to react, Lin Yan's dark arm full of dark fruits was already pressing on his head. On the palm of the hand, a vortex appeared in it. Lin Yan said, "Dark water." The next moment, the unknown CP0 leader was directly sucked into the dark water. Lin Yan waved with one hand. A piece of withered bones was thrown out of the dark water and hit the ground. This process only takes seconds. The unknown leader of the CP0 organization still doesn't understand what happened. His life. But it has been taken away by Lin Yan. The scene that suddenly appeared made the other 4 people from the CP0 organization stunned. Although they were wearing masks, it was not difficult to see that their hearts were boiling at the moment. Although the unknown CP0 leader is not very powerful among the entire CP organization. But among the 5 of them, their strength is second to none. But even so, still no match for the pirate in front of me. One move. He was taken away with just one move. A body of strong muscles went in, but when it came out, it turned into a pile of bones. Is this the power of the dark fruit? At this time, Lin Yan's gaze. He also glanced in the direction of the 4 of them. Who's next? To know. Lin Yan now. Someone who has the strength to challenge General Marine. Certainly. If you really encounter someone, you must run if you can. But it's not like these few ants in front of you can touch porcelain. Feeling the danger conveyed by Lin Yan. After all, he is still a member of the CP0 organization. They were not fooled. Come together. As one of them scolded, the four of them acted like precisely controlled machines. At the same time, attacks were launched towards Lin Yan from four different angles. Four people join hands. The strength that explodes must be extraordinary. But, is it useful? After one breath, under Lin Yan's feet, there were four more dead bones. After dealing with these five troublesome guys, the hostility in Lin Yan's eyes did not disappear. He shouted to the people around him, "Aren't you planning to come out yet?" Lin Yan absolutely didn't believe that these five guys dared to come to trouble him. As early as the beginning, he had already discovered other people lurking around him. Yeah, I didn't expect you to be so vigilant. As Lin Yan finished speaking, a woman appeared in front of him. It was a man wearing an orange lining, a white cape on his fragrant shoulders, and a sun hat with a red rose hanging on the hat. He was dressed in gorgeous attire, behaved elegantly, and his every smile was exciting and captivating. Guo Qingcheng's face was unparalleled in the world. With a slim waist, she walked slowly in front of Lin Yan with lotus steps. The moment I saw this woman, Lin Yan was stunned for a second. This appearance. She is truly naturally beautiful and has skin as smooth as cream. Even the rumored Empress Boya Hancock is probably nothing more than this. Of course, Lin Yan had never seen Boya Hancock's true face. It's very rude to look at a woman like that. Stussy brushed her hair beside her ears and said with a smile on her beautiful face. Who are you? Lin Yan asked. I think there is no need to answer your question. You are going to die soon. Stussy said with a smile. Even if you are going to die, you should die clearly, right? Let me guess, Queen of Fun Street, Stussy. Lin Yan joked. Stussy. Queen of Happy Street. I once received a message from the Big Mom Pirates to attend the wedding of Big Mom's daughter, which was held by Charlotte Pudding and Sanji. Unfortunately, Luffy and the others made a big fuss about the wedding in the end and took Sanji away, allowing Sanji to return to the Straw Hat Pirates. On the regiment. But, the Queen of Fun Street is just Stussy's hidden identity. It's like Mingay is ostensibly a member of the Seven Warlords of the Sea, the Lord of a Country, and the Don Quixote family. In fact, he is a member of the world's underground organization. It's just that very few people know this kind of identity. Likewise, the same goes for Stussy. The CP0 organization and the Tianlong people are the ones she is loyal to. It seems that you are quite capable. Stussy's face changed. She never thought that her identity would be revealed by the guy in front of her at a glance. Interesting, you little pirate surprised me. I'm going to continue to guess, are you going to kill people and silence them now? Now that you know everything, why do you have to say it? You and the little girlfriend behind you, neither of you can even think of leaving here today. Lin Yan looked at the other party and said, you are a member of the CP0 organization after all, but your tone of voice is different. I hope your strength can be as impressive as your tone. When Stussy heard Lin Yan reveal his identity. I already have the intention to take action. There is no use in talking more. She put her foot on the ground. Like an arrow, Stussy arrived in front of Lin Yan in the blink of an eye. Although they were wearing high heels, their speed was unmatched by anyone before. Point the gun. The slender fingers flicked, and the strength gathered on the fingertips. Then a beam of light was fired towards Lin Yan's heart. The most poisonous woman's heart. I wanted to avoid Lin Yan with one move. Pity. After elementalization. The finger gun passed through Lin Yan's heart. Armed domineering energy was attached to the legs, and in conjunction with shaving, he raised his long legs high, using the force to split Washan Mountain, his fragrant feet slashed towards Lin Yan. Clang. If it was a long knife with a sharp edge, Lin Yan would naturally be able to hide and hide. But the opponent is Stussy, and he still strikes with long legs. There is no reason to dodge. Lin Yan caught Stussy's move with one hand. The two of them formed a three-point line with the ground. It happens to be a straight horse posture. I don't know how you obtained such a powerful power, and now that you have obtained it, a friendly reminder, you still need to be careful. Tisk, 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 gone. Lin Yan just glanced, uncontrollably. He had no choice but to do it. Who could a normal man resist such a horse posture? Besides, Stussy was wearing scantily clad clothes. A real man is to look normal for a moment, look away immediately after finishing the work, and still pretend to be serious. HMPH, why not show it to you? Stussy didn't take it seriously, it was just a dead person and he wouldn't tell anyone. But why is there a bear pattern there? Lin Yan added another sentence. As soon as these words came out, Stussy's face suddenly darkened. I don't have the calmness I had before. It's none of your business what I wear. You get a good deal and still act nice. Stussy is also a 6th position master herself. In terms of strength, it's not even inferior to CP9's Lu Qi. Several Daolin kicks were kicked out from her legs, and the blades were like a forest of swords. Lin Yan dodged left and right, easily dodging Lan's feet. After he paused, he said again, are you in a hurry? Bang 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 bang. 20 or 30 dowses were fired from Stussy's hand. The scene can be described as a hail of bullets. A flash of red light flashed in Lin Yan's eyes, and his domineering aura was turned on, and all the finger guns were avoided by him. Lin Yan said, I'm so anxious that I won't tell you, haha. Court death. Stussy flashed behind Lin Yan and kicked him with another long leg. Pity. No matter how she attacks. But they were all easily resolved by Lin Yan. Seeing that he had exerted all his strength, Lin Yan still looked at ease. Stussy frowned, and she suddenly realized that world government or marine. They had very serious misunderstandings about Lin Yan's strength. Who are you? An elite member of the CP0 organization. It's not comparable to the 5 miscellaneous fish from before. But even so. But he still couldn't help himself with the guy in front of him. He even often fell into the disadvantage and confrontation. Stussy paused. She realized something was wrong. Aren't you going to take action? Then, it's my turn. Seeing Stussy stop, Lin Yan's voice came over. Thanks for watching.